Hi guys, and welcome to our first episode of State of the Market for 2022. As we mentioned last week, it is great to be back, and I am joined by co-host Jennifer Bou Dolh. And this week we take a more in-depth look at some key factors surrounding the performance of this year's property market.
An indication that clearance rates are normalising in Melbourne, the busiest market in the past week. 64% of homes sold at auction, with 144 listed on the block for CoreLogic's prelim figures. The rate is roughly on par with December's clearance rates. As the hot markets of Sydney and to a lesser extent Melbourne is, it is the smaller capital cities where the auction is driven by the tailwinds of affordability and demographic shift. January's early surge in auction listings comes as nervousness about rising rates begins to eat into the global financial markets. Last Friday, the Australian share market fell into its biggest weekly loss since 2020 as investors anticipated the rate rises to be imposed in an effort to control inflation. AMP Capital stated that they do not expect the Reserve Bank of Australia to begin lifting rates until August, but fixed rate mortgages are already moving higher. This shows a much needed correction in the Australian residential market that we have anticipated would be the case in 2022 and beyond.
Now to wholesale investor markets. Japanese capital investment in Australian property is set to boom after receiving nearly 30 years off and travel restrictions starting to ease. The next wave of institutional investors arrives chasing higher yielding assets. The withdrawal of Chinese investment over the past 2 years has significantly reduced the competition for assets and projects, and across the geopolitical considerations have drawn Japan and Australia closer than ever before across diplomacy, economically and politically. It is already clear in the home building sector, where 4 of the country's largest residential construction companies have already invested in Australia. Sekisui House, as well as Sumitomo Forestry, were early movers, with acquisitions of local home builders, followed by Daiwa House and Asahi Kasei. This creates opportunity for small retail mum and dad investors alike looking to take advantage of growth upswing waves made by larger wholesale investors, piggybacking off their billions of dollars invested into infrastructural landscape changes across the country.
So guys, if residential or commercial property investment is something you are looking for in 2022, please don't hesitate to reach out to Marc or myself directly to begin mapping out an effective investment strategy for you. And that is it for today. We'll see you next week for your State of the Market. Have a good day.